Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Alan Franklin speaking to you from ringside, presenting your syndicated wrestling series, another regular big-time wrestling feature. And tonight we have the opportunity of speaking to you from Memorial Hall in Independence, Missouri. Now, let's look at wrestling. We have the two very charming young ladies into the ring right at the present time for the special match of the evening. It's Terry Majors of Toledo, Ohio, and Ida May of Norwich, Connecticut. We'll, to my left, as soon as they're introduced here, we'll be able to tell you exactly. There's the referee going out into the center of the ring now. Coming from the left in the white and striped robe is Ida May of Norwich, Connecticut. And from Toledo, Ohio, in the brilliant red jacket, Terry Majors of Toledo, Ohio. Center of the ring now. The rules in girls wrestling, of course, is exactly the same as in boys wrestling. These girls are striping the scales at about 128 and 138. 128 in the left corner, Ida May, and 138 over in the blue uniform, swimming trunk. There's the bell, and here we go. It's a one-fall match or a 30-minute time limit into a wrestler's hold in the center of the ring, each one trying now for the first hold of the evening. This is the referee's hold, back against the ropes there now, and the referee's looking them over there, pats them on the back, and they break very tenderly and gently. Now with an arm flip down there, a little bit of a wrist flip, and Ida May hit the canvas as the first one down, and coming right back, Terry grabs that, goes into a back wrist lock, a reverse wrist lock, and then Ida May comes right out of it and slams a hammer lock on her, and they're standing up now, and the pressure is being put on there, and a little bit of a toss over there. Those wrestlers are back up again. The hammer lock is being thrown, and Terry throws her again and comes back up with it. However, Ida May holds onto it very, very nicely. And there, a bit of a trick. Holy mackerel, did you see that? Tripped Terry Moore took a big belly flop there in the center of the ring. And now she has a side headlock, and she's coming down on it. However, the referee's watching very closely. She's coming down across her own thigh there, a bit of a jaw breaker, a face breaker. She's pulling her hair. That's what we notice now. And she tells the referee, no, 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 this girl from Toledo, Ohio. However, I imagine our cameras picked that one up. Right smack into the eye of the camera that time, we feel sure, and that side headlock, and takes Ida May down, and toss over there onto her back. However, she comes right up and comes into a head scissors there now, and it's that left knee of Ida May is almost into the choke position there. However, the referee is watching it very, very closely. Terry Majors' legs go out of the ring a little bit, and it's broken up very cleanly. Both these girls with exceptionally long hair, as you'll notice. Flying mare and a flop down there, and right back into the head scissors again. Ida May, black-headed beauty from Norwich, Connecticut. There's a double head scissors and a roll of very nice execution. Wrestlers now stand up, both very attractive girls. There's a step over leg lock and a toe hold there now. A leg bar, and it's giving a little pressure. However, she's there. She's using her ropes. Terry Majors using her ropes and clamping down there on this leg bar and this toe hold. Watch her shoulders, and they go for the count of 3. 1, 2. There's the 2. This is a one fall. There's a 30-time-minute limit. Now the third person in the ring, that referee, saw it very cleverly that she was using it. She kicked her nicely, and she goes right back into the same hold again. Right into the same hold. And using the ropes again now, using that extra pressure. Referee thinks so. He points up at that rope, and Terry Majors says, no, brother. No, no. Terry, you know, is just as lithe as a panther up there in the ring. Tricky as a Democratic donkey. I say that because, of course, there was the count of 2. Oh, he's going to break that hold. She was using the strand of the rope. She kicks hard there, high up on the left leg of Ida May as she breaks the hold. And now Ida May is going right into the same hold, and the pressure is down on Terry Majors. Using a lot of pressure there now. Exactly identical, same hold, 10 pounds difference in these girls. Girls standing up there now, Ida May at 128, And a hard pressure down there. Terry's trying for the ropes. They're arguing it out with the referee. Terry says she's out of the ropes. Oh, I get it now. She says, watch her. She's using the rope. See, Terry is kicking the rope. There. See? Oh, they're having a bit of a conversation with the referee. A count of one. There's the pressure down there again. And this is what we call Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Only in the case that it's two young ladies up there. 1 minute she's the villain, and now she's turning the heat on as she kicks that lower strand of the red, white, and blue ropes here in Memorial Hall. And there we have a bit of a zigzag and a figure S there, and both wrestlers are up in the center of the ring now, and Ida May really means business. She's going back into the same step over toe hold there, and the leg bar, pressure's being put down there, and Terry Major is trying her best to get herself out of the ropes, and it looks like that shoulder's down for a count of one, and she says she's out of the ropes, and boy, Ida May pulls her right back in, and there's that pressure, and there's the pull of the hair, and there's a reversal. Terry Majors now has that identical same hold. There's no doubt that what Ida may try a wee bit of subterfuge there as far as reaching up concerned. There's the count of one, and the shoulder comes up. And the shoulder's up all right, so that Ida May of Norwich, Connecticut is protected. This is one fall, a 30-minute time limit. Terry Majors constantly refers to the referee, says, watch her shoulders, I'll do the wrestling. Holds up that right hand, perhaps you can see it. Ida May nearly out of the ropes on the far side of the ring over there. And Terry Majors is using a little subterfuge. She pulled on the white strand of the ropes there, and the referee breaks the hold. Kicked rather hard. You'll notice she's wearing a knee bandage on her left knee. That's Ida May, and perhaps there's been damage on one of the other bouts that she's had. There's a bad hammerlock and a chokehold. A hammerlock with the left hand, and she's choking her very, very mad. Now she's biting those fingers very hard. Continues to hold that hammerlock and into a chokehold now. She's bringing it around there so you can see it. There's a hard pull of the hair, and Ida May is slammed down very hard. Truly the role of the villain is allotted to Terry Majors of Toledo tonight. Right, a hard kick right into the breadbasket. And a yank of the hair and back into the side headlock. And the referee is breaking that, pulls the hair again and comes back into the referee is definitely going to make her break it. And she walks around. Villainous, and there's the flying mares by Ida May, and a hard sock under the chin, and another one there, a hard sock under the chin, and here comes Terry Majors out of the ropes running over here. There was two hard uppercuts to Terry Majors' jaw. Ida May says, I'm in there doing business right now. Terry's talking around, watching her chances now. There's a pull of the hair by Ida May, and a side headlock and slam over there. And now down. Still holding that headlock. Now flying mare around there again. Right back up on their feet again. Now we're going to have a trick or two. Watch this. Into the ropes and right back into that side headlock again, and up and a body slam and a slap. And it was Terry Majors that took it that time. Ida May double-crossed her. Here's the same thing again. Up and over. Lifts her high up into the air. Pulls her hair into a head scissors. Gets out of that side and right back into a head scissors. The devil into a choke now. Doing a fine job of flailing, goes right back into it. However, they're out of it now and into the center of the ring, dancing around there, each one, the aggressor trying to get into the hole. And now then we have Terry Majors sitting very comfortably on the upper arm, the upper right arm, and going into this wrist lock. She's telling the referee, watch this girl and watch her shoulders. And while referee is doing that, oh, Nellie, hold your horses. Maybe you can see that little bit of a sly move of a choke. Terry Majors reaches back, does a bit of a choke with her free hand, all the time holding on with the wrist as she sits very nonchalantly on the muscle part of the upper right arm. Referee's trying to watch. He's finally going to have to break that hold. And Terry Majors bites the fingers of Ida May. You see her sort of working around him now, getting the circulation. There's Ida May with a good bite. With a good bite on this Terry Majors. The villainous and the heroine. Terry Major's going to do something now. Watch for it. Going back into a hammerlock. Pulling up the pressure. And there's a choke that you can see right in that lens. Yes, indeed. On your screen, though, you couldn't see her bite that time. But, boy, she really goes. She's into a choke now. You can't see it. Holding on to that hammerlock. And watch this. Ida May was going to do a bit of a skullduggery throw over into a flying mare then. Wasn't able to do it. And there's a hard knee kick into the stomach. And there's another one. Referee says, break it, but she convinces him, she's a good salesman, convinces him that the knee did not ever touch her stomach. There's a hard fist into the stomach, and the referee is going to break it. Watch this. A hard kick right smack in the breadbasket. Terry Major's anxious to get out there and get at this Ida May, and Ida May is going to retaliate there. She's got this side wrist lock now, and Ida May trips her down and goes into a hammerlock for herself, pulling that left arm way up high. And a throw down there, still maintaining her hold. Ida May slams down and pushes up that hammerlock. Referee says, give up, and Terry Majors of Toledo, Ohio says, never. Reaching back there for the hair. Get that hair, now watch it. Bad hammerlock. Trying to get that hair again. Referee pulls her loose. Has a hard slam down there now as the hammerlock goes way up. That old arm is way up there, and there's another beating there. Pounds that right hand. Terry Majors reaching for that rope. Referee tears her loose from it. Reaching for it again. He tears her loose again, but she's going to squirm her way out from underneath that bottom strand of the rope, maybe. There she goes. And I imagine that the referee is going to be forced. And Terry Majors is planning something. Watch for it. Watch it. She wasn't quite fast enough. The referee is right in there in the center. One into that side wrist lock, going, taking it back into a hammerlock again. That's that same bad left arm, and it's tearing the shoulder out of the sockets. And a slam down to the mat. That pressure's way up there. That arm is way up there. Now she's putting that pressure to it. That old shoulder's bothering. She's heading for those ropes, out underneath the ropes, and that hold is sure to be broken. There's a step over leg lock and the toe hold there now. Leg bar, and it's giving a little pressure. However, she's there. She's using her ropes. Terry Majors using her ropes and clamping down there on this leg bar and this toe hold. Watch her shoulders, and they go for the count of 3. 1, 2. There's the 2 that saw it very cleverly that she was using it. She kicked her nicely, and she goes right back into the same hold again. Right into the same hold. And using the ropes again now, using that extra pressure. Referee thinks so. He points up at that rope, and Terry Majors says, no, brother. No, no. There was the count of 2. Oh, he's going to break that hold. She was using the strand of the rope. She kicks hard. And now Ida May is going right into the same hold, and the pressure is down on Terry Majors. Using a lot of pressure there now. Exactly identical, same hold. Girl standing up there now, Ida May. And a hard pressure down there. Terry's trying for the ropes. They're arguing it out with the referee. Terry says she's out of the rope. Down to one. There's the pressure down there again. And there we have a bit of a zigzag and a figure S there, and both wrestlers are up in the center of the ring now, and Ida May really means business. She's going back into the same step over toe hold there, and the leg bars, and there's that pressure, and there's a pull of the hair, and there's a reversal. Harry Majors now has that identical same hold. There's the count of one, and the shoulder comes up. Harry Majors constantly refers to the referee. Holds up that right hand. Perhaps you can see it. Ida May nearly out of the ropes on the far side of the ring over there. She pulled on the white strand of the ropes there, and the referee breaks the hold. There's a bad hammerlock and a choke hold. A hammerlock with the left hand, and she's choking her very, very mad. Now she's biting those fingers very hard. Continues to hold that hammerlock and into a chokehold now. There's a hard pull of the hair, and Ida May is slammed down very hard. Right, a hard kick right into the breadbasket. And a yank of the hair and back into the side headlock. And the referee is breaking that. Pulls the hair again and comes back into the referee. Is definitely going to make her break it. And she walks around. Still in it. And there's the flying mares by Ida May, and a hard stock under the chin. And another one there. A hard stock under the chin. And here comes Harry Majors out of the ropes running over here. There was two hard uppercuts to Harry Majors' jaw. Harry's stalking around, watching her chances now. There's a pull of the hair by Ida May, and a side headlock and slam over there. And now down. Still holding that headlock. Now flying mare around there again. Right back up on their feet. And right back into that side headlock again, and up and a body slam and a slam. And it was Harry Majors that took it that time. Ida May double-crossed her. Here's the same thing again. Up and over. Lifts her high up into the air. Pulls her hair into a head scissors. Gets out of that side and right back into a head scissors. The devil of it. Into a choke now. Doing a fine job of flailing. Goes right back into it. However, they're out of it now and into the center of the ring, dancing around there, each one, the aggressor trying to get into the hole. And now then we have Terry Majors sitting very comfortably on the upper arm. Referee's trying to watch. He's finally going to have to break that hold. And Harry Majors bites the fingers of Ida May. You see her sort of working around him now, getting the circulation. There's Ida May with a good fight. Ida May definitely the favorite here in the heroine's role tonight. Wrestling clean. Comes right back. Terry Majors goes into that same hammerlock that Ida May has been holding, and she pulls that hair into a wild dance and a figure eight, and down she goes, and Ida May is coming back up. However, Terry Majors still holding that hammerlock, pulls that hair and slams her down again. And the referee says, "That's all, girly girl." Now we'll see what's happening here. I thought it was going into a full Nelson. However, Ida May tried it, and then Terry Majors came right back with that slam down and a pull of the hair again. Now, stepping on that wrist, and down she goes, and Ida May is coming back up. However, Terry Majors still holding that hammerlock, pulls that hair and slams her down again. And the referee says, "That's all, girly girl." Now we'll see what's happening here. I thought it was going into a full Nelson. However, Ida May tried it, and then Terry Majors came right back with that slam down and a pull of the hair again. Now, stepping on that wrist, pulls his other arm, trying for a reverse into a surfboard almost, but the referee is going to break it up, stomping on that muscle, back part of the muscle of that left arm. That's bound to hurt. Ida May is now a little bit mad. There's that full Nelson I anticipated a minute ago. Falls down backwards, goes into a body scissors, the jerk and the shake up. And Terry Majors there for a minute is a little bit of trouble, and there comes the roll around in the rock. Here we go. Beautiful execution on Ida Mae's part as she rolls Terry Majors around. There's the reverse. There's the count of one. And Terry is able to shake it loose and come up into a sitting position, and that body scissors still holding. However, Terry's working on those 2 feet of Ida Mae's down there, trying her best to tear that hole loose. But here comes the rock again, and the big bounce. That's the ones that hurt. That reverse body scissors there, she's going to try to execute it again. However, Terry's working every once in a while. Now she's into a side body, and here she comes in there. Now then, she has this advantage. We'll see what happens here. And there's the bad fall on that tummy, and that hurt a lot. Here comes Terry Majors up there now, and there's that same reverse, and a hard toss over there right on her stomach, almost into the ropes. And there is a mule kick into the chin, and Ida Mae comes up, a hard slam into the back. Another one. Grabs her by the chin and slams her in the middle of the back. And here we are. There. Down on the tummy and a cross leg hold there. Could go into an Indian deathlock reverse, but I don't know whether she's going for it or not. No, she's just going to get this punishing hold, pulling those 2 legs way up there into a double toe lock, locking it up there into a bar, and then the pounce down, and that's going to hurt Terry Majors, lying there in quite pain. However, Ida Mae, and here's the reach for the hair. Ida Mae of Norwich, Connecticut. They're back there to the camera now, putting on the pressure. Slowly, Terry Majors heading for those ropes. And she's sliding out from under them. Hole's going to be broken. One way to protect yourself. Side headlock. Terry Majors has it on Ida Mae, and she's rubbing him up, trying her best to keep her back to that referee. Into the eyes, I believe. They're located for this 1 fall, 30-minute time limit. Boy, she rubbed those eyes right along the center strand of the rope. 1 fall, 30-minute time limit. We're on River Street in Independence, Missouri. River Street, ladies and gentlemen, where the white frame house of Harry S. Truman is located. Beautiful, quaint farming village, Jackson County, Missouri. Harry Majors there working on those eyes again. She's got that side headlock, of course, but she's working there, and she's a mare there, and now she's working on that arm again. Sits the straddle of it very nicely, working, wiggling there, goes a hard bite of the fingers. Just innocently, there's the bite. A hard punch into the tummy, a bite of the fingers there. Referee very busily watching. See where their Ida Mae's shoulders are down. Oh, look at that look of innocence. She reaches back there with the right hand, reaches for that throat. And a bite of the fingers. He saw it that time, I believe. What are you doing over there, he says. Boy, I mean, she tromped right down on that lovely manicure of Ida Mae. There's the hair, and there's the old toss right up into the air. And it's a hair toss, if you care to call it that. I mean, that's the oldest gag in the world. A woman pulling her hair. There's a hard body slam, and Terry Majors falls hard on Ida Mae. The count of 2, the count of 3, and that's the match for Terry Majors of Toledo, Ohio, over Ida Mae of Norwich, Connecticut. This was 1 fall for a 30-minute time limit, and there goes Terry Majors walking around with her arm up in the air.